So, literally, on the same day as the Apple event, Sony had their unveiling of two new PlayStation 4 models. First one is the PlayStation 4 Slim, which I think we got all of the details of that like a week prior. We talked about it here, and it seemed legit, and they even had a teardown up on the good old YouTube there with someone getting into the system and showing you all the internals and the new DualShock controller, because there's some changes to it. But yeah, so PlayStation 4 Slim, $300, absolutely no difference between the current PlayStation 4 model,
Now,
except it's smaller.
is that cheaper than the normal PS?
The bundles, yes, have been selling about 350, and there's going to be an Uncharted 4 bundle with this for 300.
Okay.
So that's not a bad deal. But that's good that it's dropping in price. What else is going to be, and that's going to be available, I want to say, fairly soon. I think this month it's actually going to be launching the slim version. But that's not what everyone wanted to hear about. Everyone wanted to hear about the reveal of the PlayStation 4 Neo, what everyone was calling it. Now it's the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Oh yeah,
Right. Professional gaming.
because MLG, Mountain Dew, and Doritos. Yeah.
Mountain Dew and Doritos, they do go together really well.
Wouldn't mind a sponsorship from Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Hey, contact information, lvl1sword@gmail.com.
Give me.
So Mark Cerny, who was the kind of the head architecture of the PlayStation 4, apparently is also the lead architect for the PlayStation 4 Pro. He went into detail about the specs. Apparently, the PlayStation 4, how it compares to the Pro model, how it compares to the Slim or now base model that we're calling it. It'll be 4K friendly. It'll stream in 4K. Games will not play in native 4K. It seems like there is a very nice upscaling that is going to be involved to get it to get the games at 4K.
4K, but not quite 4K.
Right. It's the equivalent to, although it's probably better than this, but when the PlayStation 3 first came out, it could play PlayStation 2 games and it could upscale them to 1080p resolution. But it was upscaling. It was taking a standard definition picture and doing more than just simply stretching the image out to fill up your TV. So it looked really good. My original PS3 could do that. But this is probably on a much more involved level, it seems like. But the fact remains, you're not going to get a native 4K image, which is kind of odd, because I don't know. The whole point, like people at one point were calling it the PlayStation 4K, because
That was supposed to be the main thing.
yeah, it's
But
good.
it's not 4K.
More
It should
4K
be called
friendly.
the PlayStation 4, not 4K.
And here's the deal. There's problems with 4K that haven't been resolved to the point where gaming is a viable option. The and the problem is, number one, 4K displays, unless you have a really, really good one, they have a lot of lag to them because they're mostly for watching stuff and viewing content in high detail. I've talked to some PC gamers, and they even think that gaming in 4K, it's at this point, you can do it, it's possible, but you may not want to for some of those reasons. So it kind of concerns me that if you have a 4K set that's not like, $1,000 plus, you may be getting a lot of lag, which if you're a gamer, lag is terrible. The less you have to deal with, the better. So yeah, I don't know. I was actually going to ask one more thing that they covered in the conference before we get to that. So Microsoft released the Xbox One S, which is like their slim version, but it has a 4K Blu-ray player in it, which the PlayStation 4 Pro will not have. And Sony's reasoning is because people will be streaming more than playing 4K Blu-ray. I know.
I guess that makes sense. But that was like Sony's thing.
They own it.
Yeah.
They own 4K Blu-ray technology. It would not... The only thing I can think of is if they put it in there, they would need to up the price by like $50 or something like that. So they might have really wanted to hit that $400 mark, which is what it's going to launch for.
Wait, I thought you said 300.
The 300 is for the Slim.
Oh yeah.
Which is just like a regular PlayStation 4, but the Pro model will be 400. So, but you're not getting a 4K Blu-ray, but at the same time, you can get an Xbox One S 500 gig model for $300. That has a 4K Blu-ray drive, so they can't be that expensive. So that reasoning doesn't really fly.
I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I would get the Xbox One. Been real.
That and they have the Xbox One Scorpio coming out in like a little over a year.
Stop it with these slightly better models, but not that much better. I just don't like it.
Now, the funny thing is, so the original Xbox One, or the new one, let's start there. Xbox One S, it has HDR for TVs that can handle HDR, and that stands for high dynamic range lighting. You can see a lot more black in the picture when it's supposed to be dark, whereas it's hard to describe. You're basically seeing a lot more colors and a lot more lighting diversity within the same frame, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Some people swear by it. Some people think that HDR actually is better than 4K, just 4K by itself. But it's something that Microsoft added to the Xbox One S. Now, what Sony is doing that's really neat, they're adding HDR to all PlayStation 4s in an update coming through soon.
That's good.
Yeah, so you don't have to go out if you're really psyched about HDR and your set supports it. It's a specific type of HDR. I think it's HDR10. So if your TV supports it and you have a PlayStation 4 now, it'll be able to do that soon. So, and that'll make games look better on its own. Now that we've covered what they talked about in the conference, what are your thoughts about these halfway upgrades?
To me, it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And like, because I don't notice that much of a difference with these specs. Like, not like, okay, yes, there's a difference, but while you're playing, honestly, it's not enough to really, really notice. To like for the PlayStation 4 Pro to the PlayStation 4, like, if you're playing the same game on each of them, side by side, yes, if you're looking closely, you'd be able to see. But like, it just comes to a point where it's just like, there's no really visual difference while you're playing. It's not going to make it that much better for me. I'm not a big graphics person in the first place, but especially when it comes to this kind of precise stuff, it's like, your mind's not even going to be able to process how perfect it is. So it's like, just wait until it's even better to release a whole like PlayStation 5, which should be a lot later. Just these kind of like, they kind of almost feel like cash grabs. Almost. Obviously, they put more work into it to call it a cash grab. That would just, I don't know, it would kind of be a little bit demeaning. But it's honestly just, it's just too much. It's just slow down and just release something, some like full complete product, not just a half, like not even halfway, like a tenth better than what you had. It's just, to me, it's just unnecessary. But I guess people want to be MLG and have the best around.
So here's what I so and I'm not the only one with this opinion, but I watched a comparison video. Now, of course, you're watching a streamed or compressed video online of, because there are certain games that are either about to come out or they already have come out, where these games will get a patch and they will benefit from the PlayStation 4 Pro's updated hardware. And I think the only thing that's really updated is the graphics chip. I think it goes from being able to output 1.8 teraflops of information a second to like something like 4.2 or something like that. Scorpio is going to be able to do 6. And those are raw numbers, and they don't really mean, they do mean something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, well, this is going to look twice as better with twice as much graphics power. No, that's not how that translates to. But they showed a sizzle reel side by side, PS4, PS4 Pro versions of games. I've been playing games for a long time. I can tell you when I'm looking at a Nintendo game, a Sega Genesis game, a TurboGrafx 16 game, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation. I know what game consoles look like. Especially the difference between less powerful and more powerful. Couldn't see the difference.
Exactly.
So if I can't, and I'm a gamer, and I do appreciate graphics. They're not the end-all, be-all, but I appreciate them. If I can't notice it, and I thought I would be able to see a difference, and because I was looking for it, I wanted it to be there, and it's not, what's the point?
Exactly.
And I feel like this system, you're only going to benefit from this system if you have a 4K television with HDR, or you're really interested in the upcoming PlayStation VR, because apparently the VR headset or the VR games will benefit greatly from the improved processing power. Which I still don't understand why the current PlayStation 4 doesn't do very well in that department, but that's what people have said. I don't have an interest in either. I've seen 4K TVs. I've seen video in 4K. It doesn't impress me. I've seen, and VR doesn't impress me either. I honestly think it's like the next 3D thing that will, or motion controls. Everyone's saying like, oh yeah, like the HTC Vive has these motion controllers, and they're really, really good. The Wii had motion controllers.
And you remember that, what was it, PlayStation
Move?
with like the blue ball things on the tips?
And what did the Xbox just get rid of? The Kinect.
Like the Kinect era.
To me, all it is you're getting an image in front of your eyes that moves along with your head, and if you do have controllers, you're just using motion controls, which have been around for a decade. And I'm just like, why is this such a hyped thing? Why is this? Why when you read journalists' opinions on like their latest VR experience, they can't stop gushing over how immersive it was, but then they felt queasy after 20 minutes and had to stop. But it's still really cool. So to me, unless you have an interest in VR, And I'm not knocking you if you do. It's just not for me. Or if you have a 4K set, you might want to get this. Or wait 2 to 3 more years, and we'll have the PlayStation 5, which will probably be native 4K. The VR will be much, much better. And the PlayStation 5, I'm going to make this call now, will probably be fully backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. So save your money is what I'm saying.